Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the first day of financial literacy. And as we mentioned earlier, we're going to try to make this year as fun as possible. So, without wasting any time, let's get right into the lesson. So, today, lesson we're going to talk about straight time pay, overtime pay, and total pay. All right. So, let's go ahead and write these down. We're going to start with straight time pay. Straight time pay. And to get straight time pay, what we're going to do, we're going to say it's the hourly rate times the number of hours worked. All right. And these are important details that you need to know. So I would go ahead and I would box these. All right. But I'm going to box them once we get to the end. We're going to go to overtime pay is equals to the overtime rate times the number of overtime hours. All right. So it's going to be overtime hours worked. And then lastly, we need to calculate the total pay. So your total pay is equals to your straight time pay, and this is your regular week's pay. All right. Plus whatever overtime you work. All right. That's if you work overtime. So it's going to be your overtime pay. So based on this, you realize that we have to know how to calculate our straight time pay and our overtime pay before we can calculate our total pay. All right. Again, let's go ahead and box these because as we know, this is going to be very important for these lessons that we're about to do. All right. Good. So now if you go to the PowerPoint, if you go to our PowerPoint that's listed on Google Classroom, right, you will see that we're going to start off with an example. It says Ashley is a daily clerk or mail clerk, all right, and she earns $8.40 per hour. Last week she worked 40 hours, and this week she worked 39 and a half hours. What is her straight time pay? So, example one. Example one, the information that we need to figure out. Last week she worked 40 hours, and this week she worked what? 39 hours. So two informations we need to figure out. How much does she get paid per hour? So her hourly pay, as we know that, is going to be what? $8.40. And so we're going to do last week. And we're going to break it down. All right. Because they asked us, they said, what is her straight time pay for each week? So last week we know that she's making what? $8.40 per hour, right? Times how many hours did she work last week? Well, last week she worked 40 hours. So we're going to take that and we're going to multiply by 40 hours, all right? And most of you guys should have your calculator. So when you do this, you should get $336. So for last week, she worked $336. All right. Now, similarly, we're going to go and we're going to say this week. All right. So this week, she works the same $8.40 per hour. Right. But how many hours did she work? She worked 39 and a half hours this week. All right. So we're going to do that. For those of you guys who do not know how to change from a fraction to a decimal, it's going to be 1 divided by 2, all right, which that is going to give you 39 and a half. So when you put that in your calculator, you're going to get $331.80. So last week she worked 336, and this week she worked 3 31.80. And that will answer our question for the first question on the slide. All right. On the slide, you're going to see where it says you do now. There's two problems on there. You're going to complete those two problems. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the next question on the slide. All right. So now the slide is up. Example 2 for me. All right. So let's go to example 2. Example 2. What does it say? It says Kayla is paid $8.20 per hour for a regular what? 40-hour week. All right. And then her overtime rate is 1.5 times her regular rate. What does that mean? All right. That pretty much means that she's going to get her regular pay, and then she's going to get an additional half of her regular pay for whatever overtime she works. All right. So the question asks, it says, this week she worked her regular 40 hours plus 10 hours overtime. What is her total pay? Again, if you come back to here, in order for me to find the total pay, I need to find the straight time pay and I need to find the overtime. So I'm going to use this formula to find the straight time pay. I'm going to use this formula to find the overtime, and then I'm going to add these two answers. All right. So here, what I'm going to do first, let's find the straight time pay. All right. Straight time pay. And you might see me refer to this as STP. All right. The straight time pay is going to be how much does she get paid per hour. So we know that she gets paid $8.20 per hour, right? And she worked a regular 40-hour week. And that's going to give me what? When you plug that in your calculator, you're going to get $3.28. All right? So that's the first part of the answer. So let's go ahead and highlight that. That's the first part right there. First part of our answer. All right? Now, I'm going to come down. I need to find the overtime. So, overtime pay, they told me that she makes what? 1.5 times her regular pay. So 1.5 is going to be 1.5 times, what is her regular pay? Her regular pay is $8.20. All right. And she worked 10 hours overtime. All right. So when I multiply this, it's going to give me $12.30. And I'm going to multiply that by 10 hours. Right here, all I did was break this down for you. What's 1.5 times 820? This is going to give me a total of 123. All right. So this here becomes the second part of my answer. So now it should be easy, because typically what we need to find the total, what? Our total pay is equals to what? What is it equals to? It's going to be our straight time pay, which is 328.00 plus 123, and this is going to give me, what does this give me? All right, go to your calculator. Yes, Kayla, what do we get? 451. So the total pay for that week is going to be what? 451. And that's your answer. Great job, everybody. Great job.